Hello. Hi.
Yeah, Doyle, I'm on my way.
Okay.
Sorry, mate. I just gave him a couple of minutes break, but you are now on speaker.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Good to hear.
I just said we'll give him a couple of minutes so that we make sure that connection's running well and everything.
Yeah, okay. Not a worries. And so how's it going over there?
Oh, it's been very, very good, mate. Everyone's very happy, and you're the final presentation. It's almost 3:00 in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
So everyone's also
Great. So everybody's ready to go home.
to have a rest.
Yeah. It's home time.
Now I can't see your screen. I can't see you.
Oh, okay. Have you tried opening your eyes?
My eyes are wide open, brother.
I shall share my screen for thou'st.
Oh, you good boy.
There, how's that?
Wonderful. Can you do the screen like how I saw you yesterday and see? This is up to you. Can we see your handsome self as well, or you just wanna do it like
How about that?
Oh my goodness.
Or him? Yeah, I've cut my hair again. Well, we can't fit both things on here.
No, that's up to you. I'm fine. Do whatever you find appropriate. That's perfect.
Do you see my full screen there?
Yeah. It's all okay. Perfectly done.
All right, cool.
Okay, you've disappeared now.
Okay.
Are you there, Doyle?
I am too, yep.
Okay, your screen's disappeared.
How about now?
Ah, hello, buddy.
I got my headphones on.
Yeah. I can't turn the computer around. Actually, I'll try to. Amanda?
Well, that's okay. You won't have to see me for much longer.
Come and say hello to him. Can you see me?
Oh no, I have to turn your video on.
Ooh. Yep. Start video.
There we go.
Come here.
Oh,
hey
buddy. How are you?
Hello, Saraya. How are you?
So can I see your book?
Yes. I'll grab a copy. So that's the
oh, wow. Very nice.
Very.
Well, hey, that doesn't look like you.
Sorry that. Yeah.
A proud papa.
Yeah, I'm very happy. Very happy.
Excellent.
Now, are you ready to go?
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Perfect. I'll introduce you first, and we'll go for it.
Perfect.
So, first of all, Doyle and I go back quite a while now. It's only a few months. I'm only joking.
Sorry, I missed the punchline.
Yeah. Doyle is a great guy, great friend of mine. We've been working together on the prescription for pharmacy for almost 12 months now, and has been one of my greatest helpers and supporters in every way possible. I don't know how he can still withstand my constant requests, but that's why he's still here. I could not thank you enough for all the help that you've given me, and you're an amazing guy, and I appreciate that you're from you're at Canada at the moment, and your family reasons. So we're still very grateful that you've given us the time to be able to connect with you and get to see you now as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm thrilled to be here.
Thank you very much. So the official introduction of Doyle. Doyle Bueller is known as the digital CEO. I also call him the digital ninja, and helps businesses become outrageously outstanding online. He's an author, entrepreneur, speaker, and online business strategist. He's best known for effectively connecting business leaders to their entire digital ecosystem to help them build a remarkable business. A former military pilot and aerospace engineer. What does that mean? He's very clever. Very, very clever. Drew said that you're very clever. I mean, yeah.
Oh, thanks.
He has spent 14 years in the business world with startups and online businesses around the world. He's a leading innovator in the online and digital innovation. Doyle has an MBA in leadership and is the author of the book on digital leadership, The Digital Delusion: How to Overcome the Misguidance and Misinformation Online. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Doyle Bueller.
All right. Hello, and thank you, everybody. Thanks, Mohammed, so much, and really appreciate that introduction. It almost sounds like we're married or something.
Let's discuss those things later.
Yeah, okay. And to all the other speakers, Jesper, Debbie, Amanda, and Sue. Wish I could be there with you today, but yeah, I'm not. It's 9 p.m. I think, my time, way across the ocean in Canada, but obviously still very excited that I'm able to sort of contribute and help you guys sort of get a handle on digital. And that's actually what I'm going to talk about. So before that, I'm just going to turn off my video. And
I'm going to sit down and listen to you as well.
Sure.
If anything happens, I'll pop up here straight away.
Sure. Yeah, no, thank you. And I just want to make sure I've got this properly. So okay, anyways, I'll maybe keep talking as we go along. So yeah, anyway, so what I want to talk about this afternoon, got to get my time zones right, is taking a look at what I call digital leadership. And it's a big concept, but it's really about how to connect the dots with online. And that's what I want to do, is help you connect a few dots in terms of how do you connect, a lot of this mishmash of what's going on, what's being produced, how you're getting into sort of social media and websites and everything else like that that comes up from time to time, and basically how to put these tools together in a format that works for you and your audience, which is the most important thing. And that's kind of what we want to talk about is, if we give you a framework to be able to say, hey, this is how it should work, then it's up to you to say, okay, well, let's make a point of delivering this throughout our entire business. And that's really what I want to teach you. And just a little bit more about myself. There's three things that I really believe about. The first one is digital leadership, right? How to sort of create that digital transformation of your business, how to be at the forefront of what's important and when it's important and that sort of thing. I also believe fully in entrepreneurship as well as education, making sure that we all have the skills that really help us move along and help us be productive and help us produce successful businesses as well. So as Mohammed mentioned, I've been involved in digital business for about 14 years, have a master of business, and previous to that was doing some weird things with engineering and flying and that sort of thing. So happy to be here. Just a couple of admin things. If you did want to download the presentation, you can actually do that right now at bit.ly/DoyleBueller22. And washrooms are at the back, I presume. I have no idea, but anyway. And what I'd also like to do is sort of get get people involved. And if you want to find out more, I do have a book, as Mohammed mentioned. And if you're interested in an actual paperback copy, what I'd appreciate is if you could go to Twitter. I'm sure a couple of you are on Twitter, and just tweet rather your best question or your biggest challenge of online, and then you'll be entered into a draw for a paperback copy, which I'll send you as soon as I can. So hopefully you can do that. What are your goals of this session? Just some housekeeping in terms of, okay, what's really important to you? How can you actually do it? That sort of thing. So if you got some time, please write those down. And what's really important is what are your biggest challenges online, and how you're actually able to produce that also. So all right, so online really ain't what it used to be, right? It's changed a lot in the last 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, even since last year. Excuse me, I was playing around with some video today where you can actually do 360 degrees, and you can actually move the video around by clicking on your mouse or actually moving your mobile phone. So it's fantastic. But the point is that we need to sort of address the fact that it's not simple, it's not easy, it does take a lot of work, but we can do it, and there aren't any silver bullets. And it's not just about selling pills online. There's a huge audience waiting for you, waiting to see what comes next from you. And if you are sort of part of that e-commerce side of perhaps selling prescriptions or whatever the case may be, or sort of more down home type businesses, the corner chemist, that sort of thing, that's what we want to talk to you about, is how to actually do that. And the important thing to remember is that we have to actually do something, because with all of this stuff coming in, the Facebooks and the Periscopes and everything else coming in, it's quite a lot to swallow, and it's hard to understand what's important and what's not, and how to deal with it, and how to be successful at it as well. The point is that we actually have to do something. So it's not going to get better. It's not going to get easier if we just kind of sit around and wait for things to happen as well. So what I want to talk to you about is, how do you understand this babble of online, help you find some focus, help you action what you need to do, and then help you implement as well. And hopefully what you'll find out today is what some of the things may be that are holding you back with digital, what you can do differently than other pharmacists, and how to build a strong blueprint for what I call a digital ecosystem for your own pharmacy as well. So, all right, so who's ready to get started? Let's go. How I spent $250,000 on a website. And today you might go, well, that's an awful lot of money. You know what? 15 years ago it was too. And it wasn't so much the amount, because it was first class. It was top of the line. It was sort of the best technology that you can imagine. And the challenge was that we had the software developed that could take images, take pictures. You could create new images, and then we'd output the products around the world, right? Just brilliant piece of software. The challenge was there was nothing connecting it together. So yeah, we had a fantastic website, but what do you do with it, right? Social media hadn't really gotten started. YouTube hadn't been invented. Facebook wasn't there yet. SEO was just kind of it was pretty black hat stuff back then. But there was no business. So I had to go out, and starting a business was great. That's obviously what I wanted to do, but I had to connect all these pieces and find out and make basically every mistake in the book to figure out, okay, well, this is how you set up a website, and this is how you connect your content, and this is how you formulate your strategy, and that sort of thing. So it was all super, super important. Fantastic learning experience, but it sort of helped me discover what was important in terms of how can other businesses build a solid platform, a solid ecosystem that works well for them across their entire platform. And that became my new mission. There's a lot of pain with online business, right? There's no real community, there's no real leads, there's no real sales, no real profit. And for a lot of us, we just basically do it because this guy said so, or that lady said so, or because, well, Facebook is there and everybody's got to be on Facebook, right? It's a cost. And a lot of times we don't actually see this return. And that's where a lot of businesses struggle, is that we don't see this. And then we kind of question ourselves. It's like, well, should I really be online? Should I really have a Facebook page? Should I really have, whatever, a website? Like, what's the point? I don't really get it. So hopefully I'm going to address that. because you know what, we all want to be part of a group. We want to have that sort of thing, that community sense that says, hey, this is where I am and this is what I want to be a part of. And we're inundated with this stuff, right? From a digital online perspective, conversion measurement, online conversations, engagement, click-through rates, interactions. Like, it blows your mind how much stuff it is. And as a pharmacist, it becomes extremely challenged to kind of cut through all this clutter and say, well, what's really important here? How am I actually going to make money at the end of the day? How am I actually going to get more people into my store or get them back into my store as well at the end of the day? And so that's where a lot of the struggle comes from. You've got all these different things that you have to worry about with online videos and EDMs and SEOs. And if you don't know the acronyms, then yeah, that's part of the challenge too, is that there's a lot of shit out there. Social media, mobile, websites, branding, all this stuff. And you, as the pharmacist, you're trying to manage digital, and yet you're still expected to obviously run your business and obviously get customers in the door and obviously manage your staff and train people and build a relationship with your clients. So it can become quite overwhelming, because we need to sort of take a look at, okay, well, what really is driving us? And it can come down to the knowledge, right? Why do we go to a pharmacist? Well, to get knowledge. And online, we kind of have to translate that to, okay, well, is it too vague or is it too expert, too technical? We also have to understand the strategy. Like, why am I here? What am I doing on your online store or on your online website? And we also have to understand what awareness and relevance we have as a small business to be able to create this platform, to be able to create this audience and that sort of thing. So these are all the challenges that we face every day. And it's not easy. And I'm the first one to say this, or hopefully I'm not the first one to say this, but it's hard. It's difficult, it's challenging, and you're inundated with all this stuff every day. Oh, you got to do this to your website, and you got to do this to Facebook, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, you got to do something, but the problem is that it's all over the place. So that's what I'm trying to do is, hey, let's slow things down a bit. Let's decide what's really important. And this is what I call digital leadership, is being able to take these concepts and distill them down into something that's effective and something that's very, very practical and easy to manage as well as we get into it. Because if you don't have the right tools, guess what? It's going to be out of control, and you need to be able to manage that. At the same time, you have an audience that's there, willing and able to learn from you if you can connect with them, if you can wake them up. And it's not just about the cool website, the social profile, right? It's more about that conversation that you have to create with this audience. It's no different than somebody walking into your store. You have a conversation with them, you talk to them, and you have to carry that forward on the online environment as well. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen. And it really comes down to several factors to being able to address that and to understand that audience. And that comes through, having a conversation, creating a community, developing connections. And then that's where that conversion comes from. It's not just as simple as putting up a bottle of vitamins, for example, in your store, on your online store, and somebody's going to buy it. It's like, okay, well, yeah, some people will. And I'm going to show you about that soon. But you have to create this conversation. You have to create the community. You have to create the connections. And then that's how your conversions come. It doesn't come very easy, but you have to work at it. And really, it comes down to being able to create sort of emotional journey from not knowing you, not knowing who you are, what you do, where you're located, what you look like, how you dress, that sort of thing, and moving that forward into the like and the love and the loyal stage. And this is how we need to sort of build our audience. And I'm going to show you the couple of tools, 2 simple tools at the beginning of this that will actually really help you. In addition to that, we also have to take a look at most pharmacists, most chemists who have a website. You're actually dealing with about 3% of people who are really actively shopping and ready to buy your products, your services, come down to your shop, whatever. You've got 30% then that never will be your customer for whatever reason. It doesn't really matter. But the part that most businesses miss is the 67% that are willing and able to actually become part of your market. And what do they need? Well, they need to know who you are. You need to show them that you're the leader. You need to build up your profile. You need to have some great content, and you have to have a very good strategy. So most businesses have this 3% to say, hey, this is my contact us page. And when you're ready to buy or ready to come down, you click contact us. And, oh, do you have this type of prescription, or do you have that type of vitamins, supplements, whatever the case may be, right? But you're missing 67% of the market. So just because they are not actively shopping does not mean they will never buy from you. And this is one of these challenges that we face, because that's how websites have been built. We've been built to say, put in a contact us page, put in a form, put in a phone number, and when somebody's ready, they'll buy from you. But that's so far from the truth. That's the 3%. But if you can actually expand that to 67%, then you're able to do that. So what we want to do is we want to build a product funnel. We want to be able to basically move those people, move that 67%, because guess what? They're not all at the same place at the same time. So we need to be able to adjust to that. We need to be able to move them along. We need to be able to nurture them. And that's, again, where we need to start with. We need to start with a strategy. We need to start with a content plan and that sort of thing. And those are the two things that I'm going to deliver very quickly to you. We need to deliver our true value, right? We need to create this selling value, not just a random piece of information. And we need to move people into your own digital ecosystem to continue the conversation. So it's not just about Facebook. It's not just about Twitter. It's not just about having a wonderful website. It's about how do we actually move these people along that purchase path to become a long-term lifetime customer. And this is what I call influence to action, is basically moving your audience to your own lists, your own pages. It's not just about the engagement, it's about the influence. And the underlying question is, what's in it for me? Again, at me as your audience, you have to ask yourself, well, what's in it for me? What's in it for them? And if you can't answer that quickly, yeah, it might look good to you. And yeah, that process might be great to you, but to your audience, to your persona, which we're going to talk about soon, it's super critical that you understand who that is and how they actually get there. And if you have these things in place, well, then guess what? You can become 100% awesome, hopefully. So just a quick check-in, and I know we'll probably save questions to the end just to save time, but here's something to write down. What is your experience with online? And we can chat about it later, or you can send me a tweet or an email at any point as well. As what has happened to you with your pharmacy online? Has it been a good experience? Has it sucked? Has it been kind of lukewarm, that sort of thing? So let's put that down and we'll talk about it soon. So are you ready to build your digital leadership? And again, without dropping your pants. 3 things you really need: authority and awareness, right? This is basically, does your audience know that you exist? You also need to create influence and inspiration. This is brand active audience. This is about you. And you need to create that knowledge and that expertise that says, hey, I'm an expert in the field. I'm able to do this. I'm able to help you. I'm able to educate you in terms of what it is that what problem are you trying to solve? How are you trying to solve it? And that sort of thing. And if you can, well, you don't necessarily need to be a guru either, but you do need to demonstrate this influence, this authority, and this knowledge. And no, you don't need to be a ninja, a guru, a yogi, or a supreme leader, right? Just a pharmacist that wants to grow their audience and sales by creating an environment that your audience enjoys. And that's all it is, all right? So how do you do that? Well, it comes back to what I call the 7 disciplines of digital leadership. And these are, over the 14 years that I've been in the online industry, these are sort of things that have popped up again and again and again to say, well, this business is doing fairly well because they are doing such and such. And I was able to distill this down into 7 key components. And the first one is that they have a digital strategy. Second one is they have a content plan. The third one is that they use social media. The fourth one is that they have good branding in terms of visuals and videos. Number 5, their website is aligned. Number 6, they have a sales funnel. Okay, so you remember that 67%? They're nurturing people consistently and constantly. And number 7, they have analytics and advertising that actually they're able to use to promote their business, to understand their business, to see how it's doing. And these are really the 7 key factors that businesses that are doing success online have. And again, we're going to be talking about number 1 and 2. There's a lot more to learn, but if you have those 2 foundation elements, then you'll be much better off. But what I really want to do first is kind of give you a quick rundown and just sort of a little quiz. I didn't mention that, but there's a quiz, and you are going to be graded on this, and Mohammed is going to have to take down marks too. But anyway, so for digital strategy, ask yourself these 5 questions. Do you have an online business goal? Do you have a digital purpose? Do you have an online strategy? Do you do any public speaking? Is your digital strategy different from your social media strategy? So give yourself a quick score there if you can. Number 2, for content, do you regularly write a blog? Do you have a content plan? Do you create a blog post 1 or more times per week? Do you have a content schedule? Have you created a customer persona? Do you have more than 5 core keywords that you use in all of your content? Number 3, social media. Do you have more than 3 social media channels? Do you have a social media plan? Do you have someone who runs your social media for your company? Do you post on social media? Do you get any leads or business from social media? Okay. Number 4, branding, visuals, and videos. Do you have a separate online brand from your offline brand? Do you have branded visuals? Have you ever created an infographic? Have you posted more than 3 videos on YouTube? And is your branding identical across all your channels? Number 5, how does your website align? Have you had an SEO review in the last 3 months? Have you compared your site to the nearest competitors in the last 6? Are you using an open source content management system? Have you updated your website content? Do you know if your site is being indexed and spidered by search engines? And is your website mobile optimized or mobile responsive? Number 6, sales funnel. Do you have an automated email responder? Do you provide a free download? Have you created a separate and distinct landing page? Do you have a lot of call to actions? Do you have a buyer's process that permits your audience to follow a specific sales path? So again, a lot of questions. We're almost done here. Analytics and advertising. Was your last pay-per-click advertising campaign more than 2 months ago? Have you ever run an ad campaign that was unsuccessful? Do you have analytics? Do you have a management dashboard? Do you spend more than $50 a day on advertising? Do you rank in the top 10 of Google for your core keywords? So if you did, take a score in terms of 10 points for each of those 7 sections. And then what do? Well, take a look. Are you between the delusional, or are you kind of more swaying towards the awesome? So it'd be interesting to see. And if we have time at the end, hopefully we can cover some of these scores as well. But the point is really kind of just to assess, what is working for you? What are your challenges with online and how you put those pieces together? So it's really important that you understand that, and then we can start to segment that. So all those 7 components, that covers everything you ever need to know about digital, about online business, about how to put your pharmacy online is in those 7 disciplines. Okay. And that's really how we're going to do it. This is the digital leadership side of things, how to articulate and organize your value. What's in it for me? What value is your audience going to receive? What value are you going to deliver? And we need to start with 2 things. The first one is your digital strategy. This is the why. And the second thing is your content strategy, and that's your what. So your stories, your value, conveying your values in your stories, your customer personas, all that sort of thing. So that's what we're going to do. And what we need to do is create it with a simple framework that this is something that you can fill in later, but for ease of use, we're looking at 3 core things. And again, it's kind of fill in the blanks. So, and I'll kind of walk you through the exercise here. But your brand value, what is that? Your product and content, what is that? And then your community, who is that? So if we can combine these 3 different elements together, that's again this digital leadership architecture that you can then say, well, I'm going to focus on my brand value as well as my community value and my product and content value. And again, because of the way that it's structured, that's really all you need to do, because we've integrated this whole process across everything. The digital reality, most pharmacy businesses do not have a digital strategy. Most businesses do not use one, and most businesses do not even know how to create a digital strategy, but it's really easy to put in place. And I'm talking those 3 circles. I'll show you how to put those in place, and then you'll actually have a digital strategy, and you can actually move forward and start to connect everything as well. Some questions, though, that you need to ask yourself. What are we about, right? So what is your business about? What's the essence of what you do? How is it that you do it that's differently from the other guy, from the competitor, from the other industry around the world, that sort of thing? What do we do best? What makes it work? And what value are you going to deliver, not just today, because that's okay for now, but what about tomorrow? What about next year? And once you take these, you can actually convey that. You can distill it into these core concepts based on, well, what is your brand value about? Okay, what is your business about? What are you there for? What are you going to do with your community? And again, how are you going to produce your product? How are you going to develop your content? How are you going to create that value that says that, hey, I'm educating, I'm informing my audience. They're getting something from me. So very, very important. Simple example, right? Red Bull, what are they about? Excitement, entertainment, energy, value. What are they about? Becoming a better person, more motivated, adrenalized. Like, not once did I say they're about a drink, a fizzy, sugary drink, because they're not. They're so much more than that. And that's really what we're looking is, how can you distill your business into very specific things related to your audience, related to your brand, related to your content. So people understand your audience. What's in it for me? Objectives. What are you trying to achieve? That value. What values are you exchanging? And deliver your value through your content, which is the second step that we're going to get into. So another hot seat, where is your brand with specific digital strategy? Can you outline it in terms of those three concepts, in terms of your brand, in terms of your content, in terms of your community as well? So those are the three things that you need, and you don't need anything more than that. So again, hopefully we'll have time to discuss some of these at the end, but if we don't, then please just email. I'm happy to help you along that journey. Now let's move into digital discipline number 2, which is content. And here's something really, really interesting, is that 90% of the content out there we consume. So we read, we watch, we listen, we engage, that sort of thing. 9% of businesses copy and share others' content. So this means that they'll share an article or a picture or a post or something like that. I don't mean like copying type thing. And then that leaves 1%. And 1% of businesses online actually create original content. So if you can imagine this going in reverse now, so if we actually produce 1% of content, what happens, right? Well, immediately you have 9% of your entire audience that will then copy and share that. And then you have 90% of that audience that then will consume it. And they'll come to see you as that online expert. They'll come to see you as that person who's taught them something, that's educated them with some form of information in terms of vitamins or minerals or whatever the case may be, in terms of that specific to your persona. So what are you going to talk about? Who are you going to talk to? And that's a question that, again, a lot of us don't have a lot of clarity on, because it's kind of confusing. And this confusion starts with, I'm not just talking about a blog, right? Content is everything that you produce. So it's ebooks, it's checklists, webinars, videos, courses, training, stories, infographics, you name it. If it's on digital, that's considered content. But a lot of us get stuck. It's like, oh, I'm supposed to blog, so I guess I'll blog, right? But then what do I blog about? Well, I don't know. But that's something I'm going to address soon. You want to educate your audience, you want to create awareness of yourself, and you want to inform them about their environment. And you also want to focus on what's important, right? Your keywords. So it's very, very important. And when you create your content, don't consider it all just sales, right? Get 10% off. If you come in on Super Sunday, then you get 15% off, that sort of thing. So we have to sort of expand past that, and we can't educate our audience with discounts. So we need to be able to ensure that we're able to produce stuff that actually informs them. And what's in it for me? Like, why would somebody care about me if I'm not giving them any information, if I'm not telling them stuff that's relevant to them? So again, this is where your digital leadership fits in. What is your content about? What is your brand essence about? And what is your community about as well? And that's where you can start to make those connection points. In terms of the content structure, these are a few things that I like to look for. Number one, you need to prioritize by what channel, um, what topic area you're talking about, what your audience is about, what your audience looks like, and then a schedule, which is really, really important. If you can narrow it down, we'll develop a persona for you coming up, as well as a schedule, and those are the key components. And again, we don't need to just write a blog, right? We can do some fun stuff. So we can talk about entertaining stuff. We can talk about ideas. We can create value. We can create credibility about you and your profession and how you help people and that sort of thing. And we can also make it personalized, right? How do we make it personalized? Well, we need to talk to that specific person as well. We also need to do keywords, which is really, really important. So we have to have a balance and keep in mind that a lot of the content that we produce is for Google, but it's also for our community. And you can't forget that it has to make sense. It has to be relevant. It has to be reverent to what you're talking about and that sort of thing. So you have to be able to condense this into your digital strategy. We don't want more content. Your audience wants better content as well. And that leaves us to, well, okay, so exactly are we talking to? And again, this can be kind of tricky because as a shop owner, you get probably all kinds of people coming into your shop at any specific time. But the thing is that you'll address that person differently because you know that they're elderly or they're middle aged or they're a young teenage person or whatever. So you actually usually adjust how you respond and how you interact with that customer. That's no different than online. What we need to do though is be upfront and figure out exactly who that customer is. So if we can again group them into what we call personas, then we can identify them. Then we can start to talk to them, and then we can relate to them specifically. And if we all just kind of trying to talk to everybody the same online, nobody's going to be listening. Nobody's going to hear you because they're not going to connect that, oh, you're talking to me. I'm a teenager, right? Or I'm an elderly person. Because if you go into a shop and somebody talks to you about, teenage stuff, then you go, what are you talking about? I'm out of here, right? It doesn't make sense. You have to create that congruency with the persona. So give them a target, give them a name. What is their role? What is their challenge? Give them what is their needs? Like, what do they usually come into your store to look for? Where would they sit in this funnel in terms of, okay, can we give them a gift? How can we nurture them from that 67% to that 3%? And what do they care about? And what I found works actually quite nicely is take a picture or just find a picture of that persona, give them a name, start and print it out and stick it, behind you or in front of you or whatever. So when you're creating content, you've got somebody that you can actually talk to instead of talking at as well. And you can start to have that conversation. Important things to remember with content is you have to reciprocate. So just because you put stuff out there doesn't mean that you can't sort of connect with other people. So you have to share, you have to you have to comment on what other people are doing as well. Your business, your personal profile, find your key people of influence. Making sure that you're building this community, and it's not just pushing out all the stuff that says, hey, I'm a wonderful business, come do business with me, aren't we great, we got 15% off, all this kind of stuff. You got to stop that and say, okay, let's build the community together and say, we are going to talk about these aspects of our brand, this aspect of our community, and this is how we're going to do it through our content and that sort of thing. So be proactive and outgoing, and you have to spend time at it. It's not just going to happen. So in summary, how to launch content development. Here's 7 simple steps to do this. Number 1, define your persona. So take a few minutes. Hopefully you've been able to answer some of those questions. Give them a name, whatever. Say, this is mine. And it doesn't mean you only have to have one. Okay. What I'm trying to say here is that you can have as many as you want, as many as you're comfortable with online, but you have to identify them specifically. And if you don't, again, you're going to be trying to talk to everybody. And then in that case, nobody's going to be listening. So number two, identify your channels rather. Where is your audience? Are they on Facebook? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they part of your newsletter? Are they just walking into your store and couldn't care less about online? Okay, you have to identify those as well. Define your story, develop your content types. And in this case, I'm talking about those examples like training sessions, checklists, books, ebooks, guides, education, right? That can help them along solving their problem. And that's kind of how you have to do it. Number five, create a schedule. Create a schedule and stick with it. Okay. If you're not creating a schedule, it's not going to happen. You need to sort of be firm with yourself and be accountable too. And that's part of leadership as well, as being accountable, saying, okay, I'm going to blog every Thursday and I'm going to produce a video every fortnight, Monday, and you have to do that. Otherwise you'll sit down and it's like, well, I need to blog, but it's like, I don't know what to blog about. So this is where your next idea comes in, is create your content matrix. So start to assemble a list that has all of your ideas related to your customer, your strategy, how you teach people, how you help people, that sort of thing. And start to fill this thing up. Put it like a big bucket. And every week or every day, keep that bucket full. And these are going to be your ideas. So when it is time to create that video, or it is time to write that script, or it is time to write that podcast, or think of the next interview, you've got those ideas ready to go, because nothing prevents your productivity worse than sitting down and saying, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this, but I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. It's like having the whiteboard syndrome. It's like, if I ask you to draw a picture, you kind of go, well, what am I supposed to draw a picture about? And that can be very, very difficult to work with if you don't have those ideas. So fill up that content matrix. That's your bucket. That's where your ideas are going to come from. Keep that full. And the last one is repurpose and reuse. I said that you have to create your own content, which is really important. And I'm going to show you how to sort of divide that up. But listen, everything that you produce, rather, in terms of your content, you don't have to create from scratch. Okay. You can reuse the stuff. You can reuse your posts. You can reuse your articles. You can reuse your videos. You can reuse your pictures. Because the way social media works and everything else works, it's like the likelihood of somebody seeing it the first time is very, very slim. And even if they do, how many of us remember it, right? I don't remember everything I see. So it's a matter of, how do we take that? How do we repurpose? How do we actually make it work and keep it rolling from that? So some of the tools you'll need, again, digital is just a tool. It's about your brand strategy, and it's more important to be able to, do with the tools that you can, and align your content align your content with your strategy, rather. So here's an example that you can actually use to what I call exploding your content. And for example, something like this as a webinar, this isn't just a webinar to me. And this is kind of how you might have to shift your mindset as well. As this is a live video cast, which is great. But guess what? I can actually record this. So that's what we're doing, is we're recording this as a video. And then what I can do is I can reuse this as a pre-recorded webinar. I can create a training program. I can, take out certain parts of this video and talk about, the analysis, the 7-step analysis, or I can talk about content or strategy. I can create a podcast. I can create an audio file. The presentation, as I mentioned, it's already on SlideShare. So you can go and you can download it, all those pictures that I produced. I can then use those within social media to say, hey, here's a picture of my slide. And actually, if you're following me on Instagram, that's already been done. I've used a picture of this presentation on Instagram. So there's multiple ways we have to kind of expand the way we think. And it's not just a linear process. It's like, okay, if I create this image, how can I use that across my whole entire platform? And the chances are that you'll be able to do that. And of course, make sure that you share it. So yeah, it may look good on your hard drive, but unless anybody else sees it, it doesn't actually exist. So make sure that you share it. And here's how to actually break down this content in terms of, okay, I told you about the 90-91. Well, let's put that in reverse. So to make it easier, create 1% of your own content. So if that's one blog a week, hey, that's great. If that's one video every fortnight, hey, that's fantastic. If that's 2 images a week, good. But just start to create it. And then what you do is copy and share 9% of the content of your influencers. Okay. And this is their stuff, so don't worry about it. Just copy it, share it. And I don't mean plagiarize. I just mean, yeah, share it and acknowledge them. And then 90% of the time, join the conversation, share others' work, discuss, what's going on, comment on what other people are doing. And this is really how you'll kind of fill that gap in terms of, what am I supposed to be doing online? What am I supposed to be doing with social media? What am I supposed to be doing with content? So as you can see, it's a small sliver that we actually have to do, but we have to continue that process as well. So how are you developing your content? Do you have a schedule? Have you defined your channels? And do you have a specific persona? And as I always say, and just so you know, that doesn't quite look like me, but we have to build the process from scratch, and we have to rethink in terms of, how do we actually develop this? How do we build this? How do we start? And that's the key, is that trust the process. We understand that we need to do something, so let's actually do it. And here are 7 simple steps to actually do this. So number 1, create the overriding strategy, which we've done. Number 2, develop a clear content plan and roadmap, which again, we've started these things. Obviously, there's a lot more depth that needs to be done, but at least you can say, hey, we can do this. Number 3, utilize specific social media tools to grow your community. Number 4, create stunning visuals. Number 5, align your website so it's congruent across everything that you do. Number 6, implement and automate sales funnels so that you can actually nurture that 67%. And number 7, you need to promote and advertise your business as well. So remember, the ultimate goal is stop hoping digital works, right? You actually have to get out and do it. And don't forget to have some fun as well. What do you really need to do? Start to establish your online platform with the 7 frames of digital leadership, as we talked about, number 1 and 2. Grow your complete digital platform, and you have to augment it. You have to feed it. It's not good enough to just set it up and leave it. It's like building a house and building the foundation and starting on the walls. Like, you need to finish it. How many unfinished houses are there? Well, there will be unfinished for a while, but they put the exterior on, then renovate the inside, then put the roof on, whatever the case may be. So you have to build it. You have to continue to grow it. Be accountable and making sure that it works. So make sure that you deliver your value across your entire digital ecosystem. Don't hard sell. It's not about the discounts, right? It's about the influence to action. What can you do to your audience to actually move them towards that sales goal? Build your authority. Who are your influencers? Your schedule, what is it? What is the value of your content? How are you delivering it? What's your strategy? What's your return on investment? Okay, these are all questions that you need to ask and you need to take a look at as well. And of course, don't forget to practice, because you look like me. So the end of the story, well, pretty close. It's more about the conversation, the community, as well as the connections that make through your entire online platform, right? The conversion, and that's what everybody's looking for. That's what everybody needs online. Because let's be honest, if you're not doing business online, you're not in business. So the conversion is the result of having a strategy, a process, and having all the pieces in place for your audience to see. And what I'd like to actually do is call out what I call the Digital Leadership Challenge, and 3 specific things that really can help you motivate and help you move towards those conversations is, what conversations are you having with your audience? How are you building your community around your value? And what connections are you creating with your audience? And once you can say that, hey, these are the conversations, this is how I'm building it, and these are the connections, guess what? Your conversions are going to happen, because you're building that structure, you're associating them, you're building that community, which is so important for people in the digital age as well. So where to go for more help? Please connect with me on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, or just search Doyle Buehler, DOYLE BUEHLAR. You can call me, you can email me. As I mentioned, I've got the slide deck on slideshare.net now and at bit.ly/DoyleBuehler22. And you're also welcome to join my online Inner Circle Facebook group, where we talk about digital marketing, we talk about digital strategy, all that kind of stuff for businesses. Please feel free to join. It's facebook.com/groups/online Inner Circle. Thank you for listening. Any questions? And as a reminder, for those of you who are on Twitter, feel free to tweet your best question or your biggest challenge of online.
Thank you very much, Doyle.
You're very welcome.
Very, very thorough. Do you have any questions? They're all professionals.
What's my favorite color? Red.
What's your favorite food?
Can I drink water and ventriloquist at the same time?
Looks like there are no questions. So, yeah, thank you so much, Doyle. We really appreciate that you've taken the time late at night to talk to us with this remarkable presentation.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciated the opportunity, Mohammed. Thank you.
And can't wait to see you back here in Ausland, mate.
Yeah, and we'll see you all online. Have a great evening.
Take care, mate. Bye-bye.